What's up, what's up, what's up? Good evening, everyone. Good afternoon, or good morning, depending on where you are. Welcome back here to another stream. We are, streaming on a Wednesday. A little midweek stream. We're going to throw one up here, head on over to Seattle, Tacoma, from the lovely Bay Area out of San Francisco. We haven't streamed this part of the country, I don't think, before, since the sim has released, at least. So we're gonna explore it today. Looking at about an hour and 2 hours and change on the flight time. Got some headwinds that's gonna make things a little bit more difficult for us, or not difficult, but longer en route than usually expected. So we've got that going on. San Francisco, lovely handcrafted airport from Microsoft and Zibo. We've got some nice utilities to go over with you all today as well. Some things that we've used before, some things that aren't new, some things that were recently updated. So looking forward to getting into that as well. Let me go ahead and get the show on the road here. Get the battery power on. Get external power on. Strobe. Nav crew supply coming on. Probe window heats. No smoking. Emergency exit lights to arm. We'll align the ADRSs. Okay, I was wondering what that was. That looks good. Let's get some air going here in the cockpit in the cabin. Oh, look at that. They've so we're using the A320 Neo mod with the latest patch here from Microsoft and Zibo, and I already noticed that's not a big deal, but the cabin controls, temperature control knobs and the cockpit control knobs were ridiculously fast. So it looks like they've adjusted that a bit. It's the little things, I guess, so that's cool. Let's go down here and put our, first of all, let's see if we can get some crew services going. What's going on, John? Go to ground services. See if we can get baggage and catering going. For pushback, I will use the external utility freeware tool that I've been using. It's a lot better than the ATC pushback, but until we get GSX and stuff like that, I've got to use the ATC inbuilt feature to mess around with that. What else? What do we say? Catering. In bed. Make night, what's going on, man? Yeah, it's late for you, man. What is it? 1 a.m. or almost 1 a.m.? Alright, so that's going on outside. Good stuff. Let's get back in here. Go to init. How in the world does this know I'm going from San Francisco to Seattle? I didn't put anything in there, nor did I utilize the flight planning tool on the main menu. That is interesting. That is very interesting. Headache won't quit. I hear you. I've managed to stabilize mine. Decided to just throw up a quick flight, so hopefully mine don't come back. Alternate works. I like what they've done with the McDo. Looks really nice. We're going to 380 today. Iris in it. Confirm. Wow, that all looks good. These guys are working their tails off, man, to make this aircraft flyable again. I'm kind of wondering though how in the world it got all of this flight plan information in, because like I said, I didn't do that. I wonder, I know they were talking about Exorcist. I know they were talking about SimBrief integration. I'm wondering if it pulled in my flight plan from SimBrief. I don't remember registering anything with this aircraft for SimBrief. Trump 2 Deadhead. That's interesting. Get rid of this user waypoint. Alright. Deadhead, direct rebel, that's correct. Direct battleground, that's correct. Yo guys, I think this thing has a SimBrief integration. Johnny, what's going on, man? I mean, I'm not complaining, I'm just in awe that it pulled in my flight plan out of nowhere. We'll go 16 left. It's the Hawk 7 into Seattle tonight. Hawk 7. I forgot they said there's sometimes a delay. Hawk 7, and what's the transition? Battleground. Which we got. I don't think Payne or PAE. I think that's Payne, Washington. I don't think that's our transition. Yeah, I don't know, man. I loaded up the aircraft, Johnny, and went to put the flight plan into McDo, and it already had, it somehow knew I was going from San Francisco to Seattle today. I didn't put anything in the main flight planning menu in the sim. And I remember reading the forum saying they were thinking about doing or working on a SimBrief integration, but I didn't give this aircraft any access to anything related to SimBrief, so it's quite odd. Payne is not the transition. What's our transition? Look at my charts here, guys. Give me a second. Carfo. Is Carfo in here? Okay, can we use Krieg? This is one of those things with this sim, man. It just forces these transitions on you. Give me a second, guys. Bear with me. Matter of fact, while we're here, happy to report that I finally have Aerosoft back for this sim. There are some inaccuracies, of course. It's still very beta-ish. I don't even think it's beta. I think it's called early release. That they are working through. So, but for the most part, it gives me exactly what, you know, I need to conduct a flight without any issues. I mean, I haven't had issues with the waypoints or the fixes or the altitude or speed restriction information. It's using the latest AirArc, so I haven't seen that. But anyway, back to our transition. Carfo is our transition. We don't want Griffey. All of this other thing is, all these other things are too far. We don't want WAMU. So we'll do no vias on this then. En route transition will be battleground. So we'll go ahead and sync that, set flight plan. So there you have our arrival. Departure out of San Francisco, it'll be one left. Oh, I'm over here talking. I didn't get PACX going. There's been an update to PACX as well. It came out this morning, so we'll see how that goes in flight today. Got 25 minutes till departure. I think we're fine. Anyway, back to this trunk to departure deadhead transition, and that looks good. So sync that, set flight plan. Go back here. There were some issues with the apron in some airports. San Francisco, however, looks correct. That is Alpha, that is Bravo, and that is the current gate that we're at, 55. So we'll taxi out to one left. No ATC on, we're on Unicom for now. And yeah, that's about it. So back to the cockpit and let's see if we can get rid of the bias that it is trying to force in here. Let me erase that. Go back to Seattle. Arrivals 16 left. Hawk 7. Yeah, VATSIM a little slow. A little is an understatement. No bias and battleground. All right, see guys, that's exactly what we want. Now, if that's going to be in the actual route, that's a different story. Like I said, we haven't been able, or Navigraph or any other developer hasn't been able to get rid of the bias on the approach fixes that the sim continues to force no matter what you pick. So we'll see. We'll go ahead and insert that. That's our route today, 617 nautical miles. Let me reference sim brief. Yes, that's correct. We're not going anywhere though without fuel. We need 15.4. Get that to pounds. We've got 23. That's more than enough. Let me back that down. We'll go with I know the fuel burn in this aircraft has been fixed, but I'm not trusting anything 100% these days with this sim, so I'm gonna put a little more. We'll go with 15,477. In terms of our takeoff weight, sim brief today is calling for 135. We got 126, so we can bump this up a bit. Let's go.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I would love to welcome you aboard our
133.
flight. When you find your seat, please
Cool.
be sure to place
Photo
your larger
in
carry-on
it.
items in the overhead bins and smaller items
Zero
underneath
fuel weight.
in front of you.
This is new.
Unless you're
This
in the
looks
front
good
row,
too.
Please place all of your items
Let's see,
in
is
the
it going
overhead bin.
to...
If you have any
Wow.
trouble finding
Yep,
locations
pre-filled what we
for your
had. What
items,
about block
please
fuel?
let the flight attendant know
Okay,
so
that way you
can
have to
have
type in manually. That's fine.
If
So
the overhead bin is
7.0.
full after you put your carry-on inside of it, please close the bin as a courtesy to other passengers. Once all your items are put away, please
This
clear
looks
the aisle
off.
and sit down in your seat to allow other passengers
It should be giving
to
me
find
my
their
trip
seats as
time
well.
and all that stuff.
You are seated in an
Maybe that's
emergency
not
exit
implemented
row.
yet, but
Please leave
I
the
like
exit seat
what they've done with this
responsibility
page. It
to the
looks
seat
good.
card back in front of you. Please make sure you are willing and able to perform the actions required. If you are not able or prefer not to perform these actions, please let a flight attendant
What
know so you
else?
can
I'm
use
trying to
the
see. Give it time.
Now's
See
the
if
time
it's
to get out any
no, it's not
last-minute
gonna move.
text
No worries.
messages if you need to, but we ask that once
That's
you depart
good.
the gate, you put away any laptops or
I'm gonna
tablets.
turn the
Thank you, and
brightnesses
welcome
up a bit.
aboard.
Another thing I noticed the other day when flying this as well, they've decoupled the weather radar and terrain radar from the ND brightness. So usually on approach, the radar is a pain because it's like taking up the entire primary flight display, or I should say the ND. But you're able to turn that down and turn it up now, so that's cool. These guys, I'm telling you, man, they're really making this aircraft a lot better to fly. We'll turn up this side as well. Cool. Looks like the IRSs are aligned. Let's get the flight director on VOR's constraints. That looks good. Let me turn up the MCP panel. That looks good. And let's step through this flight plan and then we'll do our performance. Give me a second, guys. Trying to get a camera angle to allow you guys to see it. There we go. So we'll step through the transition to deadhead. We'll continue northbound over Portland, picking up the Hawk 7 arrival. McKnight, Dan, that's clear. Yeah, man, they've really cleaned up
ready
the.
to go when you are.
Thank you. They've really cleaned up the McDo and all that stuff. So again, it did force the transition. It wants us to take Griffey, even though we didn't have it programmed in there. Again, it's a limitation of the sim. Until Microsoft and Asobo fixes it, there's nothing we can do about that. So what we'll do is, obviously, once we get to our final waypoint here, we'll go into nav mode and vector ourselves onto the initial approach fix for the 16 left runway. I won't go as far as Griffey, it makes no sense. So that's good. Between that and the CJ4 monitors, the only ones keeping 2020 aloft for folks. Yeah, man. To be honest, if it wasn't for the CJ4 mod and this mod, I would find myself back in P3D. I'm not even gonna lie. Not even gonna lie. Alright, let's get the APU fired up. What's going on outside? Baggage service is done. Catering service is done. Good stuff. Make sure my camera views is set up for the flight. That looks good. That looks good. Alright. Flap is open on the APU. We'll get it started. Let me check VATSIM one more time. Nope, no one's here. Activate my radio panel. Okay. Make sure I'm squawking mode C. That looks good. Alright, while the APU is getting fired up, let's make sure we've got everything else set up. Get the brightness up on this. That looks good. We'll get the cockpit door closed. Seatbelt signs can come on. They've really turned down the seatbelt signs and chimes way down, actually. It's a little bit too soft for my liking, but it's fine. Top looks good for now. We'll get that back to arc mode. Just waiting for the APU for now. Let's brief this flight just a bit. So we are United 447. We're in the A320. Hour and 42 minutes for you guys today. And I do have the overlay working. I did a test flight last night and it worked. So hopefully it continues to work tonight. I think that what the issue was, I was minimizing it on my other screen. And for some reason it doesn't like that. So it stops pulling the data when you minimize the actual application. Never heard of that before. Don't know why it was doing that. But actually I'll show you guys here. So it has to stay up. I can have other things over it like I do here, but it needs to stay up. You can't minimize it. And that's what the issue was. That's what it was doing and causing the information not to translate over to the actual overlay. So we'll see tonight. We'll see if that works. Anyway, hour and 42 minutes. We've got our fuel. We've got our passengers on board. We're out of one left today, so we're parked at gate 55. We'll essentially push back on the Alpha. We'll make sure we announce that we are on Unicom, no ATC, but we don't want to push back onto any aircrafts. And then we'll take Alpha down to one left. Bravo is usually reserved for the aircrafts coming in. If ATC was on, they would give us Alpha. Obviously, Aerosoft is going to draw what they think is the most logical path to the runway, so I'm not worried about that. Into Seattle tonight. Expected weather, we've got winds 200 at 710 statute of a mile. We've got scattered clouds at 35, broken at 25, 16 degrees Celsius, 3042. Not terrible, not bad. I'm running live weather, but San Francisco's METAR seems to be way off. The actual weather depiction itself is fine. 10 statutes of a mile, 29 degrees Celsius here on the ground. Clear skies. But the METAR, man, Asobo and Microsoft still can't get that right. Some days it's spot on, and some other flights it's just way off. If you take a look in the aircraft right now, it's showing 2994, which is terribly incorrect. But that's what we got to work with, so we'll make do. APU bleed coming on, fuel pumps coming on. We'll get the transponder to T8 for the pushback here. Beacon lights coming on. Now, one of the other tools I was talking about today is Pushback Helper. So let me bring that up for you guys and show you guys what it does and all that good stuff. So essentially you can utilize this tool here to connect and disconnect the jetways and actually do your pushback. It works a lot better than the actual in-sim pushback because the in-sim pushback is really delayed. I don't know why Microsoft and Asobo did it like this, but it simulates you talking to ATC and ATC relaying the information back to the tug driver, which is ridiculous because by the time they actually carry out the instruction that you gave them, it's far behind. So this nifty little freeware tool is available on the mods forum. I've used it once, it worked fine, so we'll see what it looks like today. So I'm going to go ahead and disconnect the jetway now, and we should start to see that jetway
Good
disconnect.
afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome aboard flight 447, the service to Seattle. Our flight time will be roughly 1 hour
There you go.
and 42 minutes. Now that the cabin door is closed, please make sure that all devices are in airplane mode and your large devices are now shut down and stowed. Please fasten your seatbelt and make sure that all tray tables and seat backs are in a full upright and locked position for departure. Cabin crew, secure doors for departure.
So now we'll ask, huh? What do you mean, huh, Johnny? You've never used the pushback in the sim? Alright, so now what we'll do here is, I'm trying to get it on the other screen, but I've got game capture on, so it's not going to capture any outside utilities, so I have to show you guys on my other monitor. What we'll do now is click activate, and you'll see the actual tug driver start to attach to the aircraft. It's cool they have tools already. Yeah, man, the community is quick at work. I'm really waiting for GSX, but for now this will do. It's funny because way before, like a good month before the sim was released, FS Dream Team released some of their images and updates that GSX would essentially be working, you know, on release, or at least just after, but that hasn't been the case. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, they're starting to push us back. Another thing that's pretty ridiculous, you shouldn't be able to push us back here if the parking brake is on, but again, limitation of the sim. They'll release the parking brake now. San Francisco International Traffic, United Airbus A320 pushing back onto Alpha from gate 55, San Francisco traffic.
Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the screens for an important safety demonstration. Thank you for flying with us.
Whoa, that's loud.
Welcome. We're excited to have you aboard, and we appreciate your attention as
Sorry,
we
guys.
demonstrate the safety features of this aircraft. FAA regulations require you to follow the...
Alright, let's see how we're doing. So what we're going to do now is have them push us back right, and as soon as I click right, look how instantly that moves. Again, it really gives you the opportunity to really get the pushback spot on to where you want it.
Your seatbelt should be fastened low and tight across your lap. In case of unexpected turbulence, keep your seatbelt fastened.
So started the engines. We'll get number one fired up.
Please take a moment to look around in order to familiarize yourself with the aircraft. As you locate the two exits near your seat, remember, they may
Push left, so line us up a bit more. Back right. Then when you want it to stop, you just hit activate again. So we'll do that right about here. Not perfectly spot on, but it get us where we want to go. And then you just hit the parking brakes, and the tow truck should start to move away and go back to where they need to be. So again, pretty cool. It's called Pushback Helper. It is available on the forums. Carnival. What's Carnival? Are you talking about the are you talking about the safety message on the United Sound Pack, John? Alright, got number 1 firing up. Where'd you stay today at San Francisco? Alright, that's number 1. Number 2. I didn't hear the PTU and all that stuff going off. Yeah, that's the United Sound Pack, John.
Inflate your vest just prior to exiting the aircraft by pulling down sharply on the red tab. You can also inflate the vest by blowing into the tube. This aircraft is also equipped with infant life vests, which will be distributed if necessary. Oh, thanks, Oscar.
We got number 2 spinning up.
Any kind, including e-cigarettes, is never allowed on the aircraft. FAA regulations prohibit tampering.
These sounds are really, really low. I don't know. I am using the Neo sound pack, so I don't know if it's not quite compatible with the A320 mod, but it's a lot softer than it was in the past. So again, that A320 mod is updated almost hourly. So the sound pack is obviously not going to keep up with the changes hourly. They may need to push a release, but I find it a lot quieter than it was before. Could also be the latest patch that was released for the sim itself, so not quite sure. Anyway, that's 2 good starts. We'll go ignition mode normal. You'll get the APU bleed off and the master off. What we forgot to do was our performance. We're gonna go 1 up, 0.2. I really like how clean this looks. Relatively short runway out of 1 left at San Francisco, but we don't need to flex all the way down to 20. 35 should be good enough. We'll refresh the V speeds. That's accurate now. 18,000 is actually our transition, not 10. And looks good. Alright, flaps 1, config 1. You will get the auto brake max, terrain on ND. We need the weather radar, predictive wind shear, and spoilers armed. Alright, my friends, let's do this. San Francisco traffic, United Airbus A320, taxi to 1 left via Alpha Mike 1. San Francisco traffic. I mean, is it just me? Are you guys hearing the engines? It's really soft. I can barely hear it. All right, taxi light on. I can hear them. Alright, cool. Thank you, Johnny. They sound really low to me on my end, but I like everything up loud, so it could just be me. Oh, there we go. From outside, you can definitely hear them. What they're probably doing, or what they've tried to do, was probably simulate the engines to actually sound a lot closer to what they sound like from the inside of the cabin and the cockpit. So, in their defense, that's probably spot on. Alright, we're just gonna go straight out now. Make sure the cabin crew is ready. Takeoff config. It's normal. Cabin crew is advised. Alright, TARA. Landing lights on. San Francisco traffic, United Airbus A320 departing runway 1 left. Will be the Trunken 2 departure north. San Francisco traffic. Clear left, clear right, clear on the approach, although no one ever approaches this runway. This is used only at San Francisco for takeoffs. Entering the active, we'll get the strobe on, turn on. We get all the lights on, why not? Did they simulate the packs yet? No way! We could do pack off departures now. Didn't realize that. Although I don't notice a change in the sounds. Sounds like the packs are still on, but we could at least simulate it. I'm sure that will come later. Alright, we're lined up. I'm good to go. Sure that's set. No one around. Alright. Take off. Stable. Thrust set, man flex 35, SRS runway, auto thrust is below. Man, nah, these sounds are really low. They used to be a lot louder. Alright, that's 100. And that is V1 essentially. We'll rotate. Nice and smooth. Positive rate gears coming up. We'll go 11,000 open climb. San Francisco traffic, United Airbus A320, clear all runways. Last call, San Francisco traffic. Let's climb thrusts. Get nose down here. Scenery is so blocky. I've got great internet connection. Everything is on high end, or for the most part ultra, and unless you are nose close to some of this scenery and the buildings, it looks really blocky. I don't know what Microsoft and Asobo have done the last couple of patches, but it's ridiculous. The first day the sim released, everything looked great, and you know, to be honest, performance-wise, things are performing a lot better as well, and that's probably what they did. They probably reduced the quality of the textures there, even on high-end and ultra, to kind of help compensate for folks that don't have powerful enough equipment. You noticed that yesterday too? Yeah, it's a shame. All right, we'll go clean. Spoilers disarmed. Flaps retracted. Lights as required. Essentially, when we went to climb thrust, we should have put the packs back on, but we'll do that now. Alright, let's take a checklist. Like I said, gears up, no lights, flaps retracted, spoilers disarmed, lights as required, packs are on. I've got 11,000 open climb alt blue. We're out of here, guys. We're on our way to Seattle. Good evening, peeps. What overlay are you using, Mike? The same one. It's what the hell is this? Fly Live Studio. I just picked a different overlay selection, but it's the same one. Is it working, by the way, guys? Or is it still off? No, it's still off. Oh my gosh. I literally had it working yesterday. Alright, autopilot 1 coming on. Let me try to troubleshoot this while we're climbing out here. You gotta be kidding me. This thing was just working yesterday. Just working. Yeah, the top bar, it's still showing 0. Everything is still showing 0. I don't know what's going on. It's like as soon as I go live, it stops working. It was up and running yesterday. No problem.
Gentlemen, we are now passing through 10,000.
That's 10,000.
On your larger portable electronic devices. As a reminder, please keep your seatbelt fastened while you're seated and do not concentrate on the sound during the lavatory. This aircraft is equipped with
Chow in the cabin.
If you wish to connect to the Wi-Fi, you will be required to pay a small fee. We do offer complimentary in-flight communication.
We'll open climb up to 380.
Wi-Fi to find out more information.
Got some turbulence here. Now guys, the top bar, is that, Mr. Woods, I think that's what you're talking about, right? The overlay is the top bar? Is that what you're talking about? Let me close Fly Live Studios and try to get it going again. Appreciate you all tuning in this evening. Last minute stream here. I usually don't stream during the week. We're usually Fridays and the weekends, but had some time this evening. Decided to throw one up. I don't know if we'll stream on Friday, so I wanted to at least get one in this week. Thanks for tuning in. Hope all is well. Let me continue to troubleshoot this stuff. Give you guys some views outside the cabin in the meantime. Let me see what's going on with this. Yeah, it is weird, Johnny. You got yours working, right? No problem? I don't understand it. Like, take a look over here, guys. So the information is here. It's available. It's pulling it from the sim. I'm not understanding why it won't pull over to the overlay. I mean, you've got the flight dispatcher information, the call sign, departure and arrival airports. You've got your altitude, your Zulu time, expected time of arrival, distance to go, all that stuff. I don't know why it's not pulling it over. Like I said, I did a test flight yesterday and it worked. So I'm wondering if it has something to do with the actual live stream settings itself. Don't know, just a guess. But I don't understand at this point what the problem is. Yeah, that sucks. I like the overlay too. It's a nice one. I like it better than the in-your-face default one that I was running before. This one is a little bit more subtle. I like it. But it makes no sense if I can't get it to work. Let me mess with the source. now it's gone completely. No, it's not SimConnect, Johnny. It's something to do with the live stream and probably the live overlays from Streamlabs that I'm running, because I just turned it off and turned it back on really quick and it won't even show up now. There's something going on. Because if it was SimConnect, you wouldn't have the information at all, right? Like I said, it's pulling the info. It has it all here. So it's got nothing to do with SimConnect. Man, we need to do some bush flying Saturday, man. I told you I want to visit that. I forgot what it was called. That little what was that, like a lake on top of a mountain up in the Washington area? The Icon, man. We got to try that one out. Do a group flight up there. Alright, what's going on in here? Let's monitor these systems. We're well past 18,000. We'll go back to standard here. All these click spots. Standard set and cross-checked. This one you can't turn to standard yet, so we'll leave that alone. Looking good in the climb, guys. We're well on our way. Yeah, definitely gotta do some bush flying. Let me see if I can recreate the overlay here. Right on stream. Show. Browser source. Yeah, something about the live stream. It's not liking. I don't know what's up with it. Anyways, we're on our way. Weather looks good so far. We're still on VATSIM here, but on Unicom. Seattle was online earlier this afternoon. They do not appear to be now. Take a look. Yeah, no, they're offline. They sometimes come on in the late evenings, so we may get someone as we make the we start making the approach in. Anyway, what's going on, guys? What's how you guys liking the latest patch? I think the primary objective of the patch was to resolve some of the bouncing up and down issues with the GA aircrafts and just the overall aerodynamic stability. I was flying the CJ4. It seems to be a little bit better, actually a lot better, but still has its issues. Anything above 37,000 feet, and anytime you hit turbulence, it just bounces ridiculously. It's a lot better than it was before the patch, but it has a ways to go. I don't understand why the aerodynamics And the autopilot functionality of these aircrafts continue to get progressively worse with each patch. It should be the other way around. It's almost as if Microsoft and Asobo are just throwing darts blindfolded, trying to figure out what's wrong. I mean, it's their sim, right? It's their game. They created it. I'm just mind-boggling that they haven't been able to straighten some of these things out. Oh, it's only been out 2 months, but you know, some of this stuff should have been day one fixes, in my opinion. Certainly not 3 or 4 patches in and you still can't get it together. And I would love to fly the long haulers, the heavies. I think I want to do Cross the Pond this year, and I really wanted to do it in the 787 or the 747 in this sim, but again, those are 2 aircrafts as well that continue to get progressively worse with each patch. They're literally unflyable. I think Stalker, Johnny, you hit the nail on the head, man. It's makes no sense. I think if it wasn't for these mods, I would certainly be flying this sim a lot less. 747 is a mess. Yeah, it is. Virtually it is. There is, I'm hearing, you know, nowadays it's not even following the flight plan. The 787 was at least decent. I think one of our first flights in this sim, or at least on stream in this sim, we took the 787 up, and it was a decent flight. I mean, the landing was kind of funky because the 787 almost has no kind of flare logic at all. It's when you start to flare, it almost wants to just take off again. So you literally have to let the aircraft just fall on the runway. But now I'm hearing it doesn't even fly. The MCP panel is totally dark. It has no altitude or speed or heading digits. Completely gone. It won't follow the flight plan. Aerodynamics is all over the place. Mr. Woods, I think they should hire fly-by-wire to finish the A320 for sure. For sure. And I think one of the latest developer updates, I think it was yesterday, they made some sort of comments about, you know, they really left a lot of these aircrafts, quote unquote, unfinished, or at least not fully simulated, to make or leave room for third-party payware developers. And I'm like, that's a load of nonsense. I think it's nice to take into account third-party developers that have made a living through providing add-ons in the simulation world, for sure, and I'm for it. What I don't agree with, though, is some of the basics that you should have had down, default aircraft or not. The autopilot logic should work. The plane should follow the flight plan. The plane should have accurate fuel burn and the capacity that it has in real life, or even that you've published. I mean, they've got the citation longitude published at 7 hours, 3,500 nautical miles. You'd be lucky to get 800 nautical miles out of that thing because it just eats up the fuel so fast. So it's I don't buy that excuse. I would have rather them focus on a few aircrafts than they did now. You got 10 and 12 that are terrible. Agreed. And some folks are saying that's probably part of the problem as well. They threw too many aircrafts in the sim and they can't figure it out. However, I still think that's partially an excuse because most of these aircrafts, especially on the GA front, share the same aerodynamics. So if you solve it for one, you're going to solve it for all. And I can't figure out why they can't figure out the autopilot logic in these planes. But agreed, I think if they had focused a little bit more on, you know, a few aircrafts rather than many, they would have been in a better position. We're gonna level off soon. We'll get the seatbelt sign off here.
Off the fasten seatbelt sign. You can now get up and move around the cabin. However, we ask that you keep your seatbelt fastened.
And it's unfortunate, man, because a lot of us, including myself, was really looking forward to PMDG 737, right? It was kind of like, all right, the default aircraft suck, but at least PMDG and Aerosoft is on track to get us some payware quality airliners. But now they're all delayed. And I think it's attributed to the fact that this sim is just, from a avionics standpoint, autopilot standpoint, FMS standpoint, is just not where it needs to be to support a payware quality aircraft. And you couple that with the fact that the SDK is not finished or just lacking a lot of viable information. You've got no choice but to delay the thing. Alright, sounds like we've leveled off. Yes, we have. Looking good on the McDo. Can actually, let's... What are we cruising at today? Mach 0.78, that's fine. But anyway, enough negativity. I think at its core, the sim out of the box gives us some capabilities that we've never seen before from a default simulator. I think at the end of the day, you can't argue against that. But I think with some of these issues, or with most of these issues, you're going to continue to see folks fly Xplane and P3D until this stuff is sorted out. So is what it is. What is going on in the Xplane world and P3D world? It's been, this is sim release. I haven't done a flight in either of those sims. You know, the A300 from Any Builds released. Stalker, you've been flying that a lot. You're in love with that aircraft, Johnny. What's going on with FSLABS, man? I heard that 319 is still not out, nor is the Sharklets. Will it ever get released? It's been like 2 years now. A lot. Oh no, man, those guys sure take their sweet time, boy. Gorgeous day up here in the West Coast. But these Any Build guys, man, not Any Builds, I'm sorry, an X mod. Yeah, I'm forgetting their name already. Fly-by-wire. There we go. These guys have really really made this aircraft a lot more enjoyable to fly. I mean, the McDo is coming along. Still some features missing for sure, but it'll get there. It'll certainly get there. Some of this stuff, to be honest though, they're not going to be able to address until Microsoft can. Oh, I didn't even realize they modeled the Chrono as well. We should have used that on departure. Well, that's cool. Alright, we know for next time. MD-11 coming to Xplane as well. Just they don't screw it up. Just hope they don't screw it up. I don't think they will. I don't think they will. But yeah, this it's really starting to become not so distinguishable from Aerosoft quality. I won't even lie. Sure, Aerosoft for a payware version has a couple of other things for sure, but I think by early next year, this aircraft is going to be at least Aerosoft quality. I'd argue even better. But it's a new sim. We'll see what Aerosoft has to offer when they finally bring their Airbus. But going back to FSX and P3D, I think the quality is almost the same. And he is doing an A380. Get out of here. No way. Really? When did they announce that, Johnny? That's pretty cool. I don't even know if I would get it. So first of all, I don't fly Xplane anymore. I don't even have it installed, but years ago I really wanted an A380 to fly. But I think, you know, I've kind of lost interest in them a bit. Has FSLABS said what their aircraft was going to be that stayed in the air? Oh, was it the Concorde? Was that what it was? Or are they planning like a Neo or something? That was some interesting turbulence. That was interesting. On their website, I see it a week ago. Maybe a pass for me though. Yeah, Johnny, you're not a long hauler, man. I don't see you flying long haul flights. They're bringing back the Concorde. Yeah, that's weird though, man. They like swore up and down that they were done with it and weren't going to, you know, continue to iterate it and whatnot. So I mean, Concorde's cool, but I'd have loved for them to do an A330 or the Neo lineup. That would have been better in my eyes. I mean, how many routes are you really going to be able to use the Concorde on? Really going to be able to simulate the Concorde with? I think it would have been nicer to do something else like a Neo or an A300, late 330. I think Salty Simulations is working with a 747 mods for MFS. Yep, Mr. Woods, that is correct. But again, their mod is not going to work properly until Microsoft and Asobo fixes the 747 itself. The same with the 787. I think it's XE. XE is working on a mod or have worked on a mod, but it's broken. The mod for the 787 and 747 is not really worth flying until the base aircraft itself is straightened out. I've tried it. It's worthless. It's useless, rather. Nah, Concorde or 350. Yes, or the 350, John. There you go. I would have loved for a 350. But I think the 350 is a relatively new aircraft to, I mean, who makes it in Xplane? I think it's Flight Factor, right? In conjunction with somebody else, and they've had it for years now and still can't get that thing together, at least in my eyes. That's a tough aircraft to simulate properly. Appreciate you all dropping in this evening. Welcome to the stream here. Welcome to the Micslmn stream. Midweek stream, not usually what we do. We usually fly here on the weekends and do streams on the weekends, but had some time today. We threw one up here. On our way up to, where the hell are we going? Seattle. Seattle, Tacoma Airport. We just left San Francisco. Unfortunately, my overlay still doesn't work. I thought we had it tested and working to kind of continue to give you guys some in-flight information and whatnot, but it's went kaput again. So the actual source, it's working though. The data source is working, but not the overlay itself. So anyway, we're about 34% of the way there at about 388 nautical miles. Should be on the ground in roughly an hour, so we're making good time, especially with these headwinds. It's not too bad. So that's what's going on there. We're on VATSIM as well, but no ATC. It's a bit early on the West Coast. Like I said, it's only about 5 o'clock here, 5 p.m. San Francisco and Seattle and those guys usually don't get on till about 6 or 7. So we may catch a controller on the arrival in, but for the most part, we'll be on Unicom this evening. We are in the A320 Neo mod by Fly-by-Wire. Flying on the latest patch. What is this, 1.95, I believe? Stalker, I had the Labs first generation of Concorde and it was pretty good. I've never flown a Concorde. Turbulence kicking pretty good today. Yeah, it is, man. Probably be my only long hauler. I don't see you doing long hauls, Johnny. I don't see you doing flights longer than 4 hours. But I may stand corrected. Turbulence is kicking. Make sure everything's all right inside. What's going on? Got some weather coming up off at our 11 o'clock there. I don't know if that's what we're picking up. We've got a 45 knot Almost headwind. Should be no factor though. We'll leave it. I think the turbulence effect scale is just a little bit exaggerated with this sim in general, so it is what it is. I'm not worried about it. It should be fine. Aircraft's not gonna fall out of the sky. But yeah, man, it's this sim really, I think, Stalker, you put it best, man. This sim can really amaze you and blow your mind one day and just frustrate the heck out of you the next. There's like no level of consistency. I've been following the forums, and there are folks that continue to have issues, and it's not really user error. It's just these aircrafts just need a lot of work, but we'll hopefully get saved by some payware quality type stuff coming here in the next couple of months. Exactly 4 hours is all I need. Yeah, I haven't done a long haul in months. Like I said, I want to do cross the pond this year, but I think that's a month out if I'm not mistaken. I'm not holding my breath that the next patch will address the 787, 747 so that I can do it, but New York to London, was that 4 hours and changing in Concorde? Yeah, New York to London, I think with that tailwind, the jet stream in the wintertime, you can probably do it in like 3.5 hours in the Concorde, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe 3:45 on the clock. Coming back maybe 4.5. Yeah, I think 50,000 feet. You'd be cruising in that thing. Even better. It's 3 hours, so 3 hours flat. Damn. Those 8-hour legs are a hard pass for me. Even better. We got to get Johnny on the long haul game, man. I mean, listen, when I do a long haul, like I said, it's been months. When I do a long haul, I'm not sitting at my desk for 6 to 8 hours. No way. It's usually I'm out and about doing stuff or doing things around the house. I would never sit there unless it was a cross the pond event. There's enough entertainment to keep you at your seat for 6 hours, for sure. And even then, as long as you're doing your position reports, you can get up and walk around, do things. But yeah, I wouldn't literally sit at my desk for 6 to 8 hours and do a long haul with nothing else going on. That's a no. And it's been a while since I've done like a super long haul. Like I'm talking overnights. I don't trust this sim at all yet to do something like that. But yeah, man, back in P3D, definitely would do like an LAX to Sydney, no problem. Or vice versa, or LAX to Frankfurt. Speaking of Europe, I gotta do some European flights, man. I know I keep saying it, but there's so much to explore in this simulator just here in the States that I'm trying to hit all of that stuff before I go over to Europe. I mean, back in P3D and Xplane and whatnot, it was easy to go to Europe or go to certain areas because you had sceneries for them, but a lot of these areas in this sim you don't need add-on scenery for, so I'm checking out all parts of the country that I've really never been to before in a sim. So that's why I haven't been to Europe yet, but I promise we're gonna get over there. I still have to check out Gibraltar. I haven't even been to Frankfurt yet, and that's a payware airport, so I definitely want to check that out. Or not payware, it's handcrafted. You know, it's funny, gents, I've yet to really see a good A340 in the years. That's a good point. People have been asking for it a lot though. Dang, voice to text. Is the V-pilot too loud? Sorry if it was if the V-pilot was too loud there. I could turn it down. Yeah, I haven't seen an A340 either. Yes, crafted, John, you're right. Who is up here texting? November 5479 Sierra, Sacramento. Right, we're about halfway there, guys. Making good time. The 172 fixed now? I don't know, John. I haven't flown it yet. I haven't tried it. I think Johnny was in it last night. How's the 172? Yeah, a lot of these aircrafts are, before this patch, were broken as heck. I haven't tried all of them yet to see if it's fixed. Like I said, the working title mod, CJ4, that's my favorite aircraft in this sim right now. Those guys are another bunch of wizards, man, that have really turned that CJ4 around and made it enjoyable to fly. I've been doing a lot of hours in that thing. And then the A320 Neo mod, I really don't fly anything else. Like I said, they're just bad, man. So these are the two aircrafts I fly mostly in this sim. I haven't flown the TBM in a while. Maybe get back into that. Did they do something with the clouds in a good way or a bad way? Because they look like crap to me. They look nice there. John, you and I could never get on the same page with clouds, man. When I think they look nice, you think they look bad. When you think they look nice, I think they look bad. That's funny. I've got, so maybe on you guys' end it looks fine, but they still have like the little staticky bubbles in them. I don't know if that's because of the 4K TV that I'm using here for the sim. It's a 55-inch Samsung 4K, so it kind of, you know, shows every inaccuracy. But the clouds are on ultra, and I still have issues with little bubbles coming through on the stream though. And when you look at it on other monitors, they look fine. But on my end they look pretty bad, but it's all right. Anybody using that Rex weather engine? I heard they've gotten it straightened out. I really don't see a need for that thing. I mean, yeah, it's gonna give you closer METAR data, but everything else, the live weather, is giving you. If it was changing textures as well, like the clouds and whatnot, I could see that, but essentially you're just purchasing something that the sim already does. Hard pass. I don't know, man. Try resolution on Ultra 2. Which resolution? Is that my problem? Which resolution setting? Yeah, the 172 isn't completely butchered. Well, that's good to know. Tell you what though, man, one thing they got right was the sim. The graphics and the scenery look great. The number is 100, I think. Oh yeah, I've got that bumped to 150. I've got all that's. Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, no, I can't bump that up. It kills when you're running 4K. It kills that. But that's the only thing that looks blurry. I haven't opened the sim in almost a month. Damn, dude. Yeah, I know a lot of folks who have just parked it. Haven't really given up on it, but they've parked it for now. There are some folks though that are looking for refunds. I mean, at the end of the day, it is what it is. I think, you know, at its core, if you got a good GA like a 172 or a good bush plane, and you just want to do some small bush hops or flying around your hometown or little runs like that, I think it's the least frustrating way to mess with this simulator or to fly this sim. But if you're looking for anything above that, be prepared to deal with frustration, that's for sure. So you can either, again, you know, park everything else and just do that, or just park it all together and just fly other sims. I mean, got options, so that's good. Too tired after class to do the VFR, otherwise I'd finish my New Zealand tour. I hear you, man. Be prepared, no pun intended. I know, right? I mean, just look how the plane's handling the turbulence. It's so off. It's tossing it around like it's a piece of paper. Like they've got to do better than that. Turbulence will make airplanes shudder. Occasionally, if it's pretty bad, a loss in a couple of feet. If you're this is like severe turbulence and not even. The aircraft really shouldn't be shaking up and down like this for light chop, for hurricane. Exactly. This is hurricane type turbulence. It's ridiculous. And they put so much emphasis on the aerodynamics and how the aerodynamics was the best set of aerodynamics we were ever going to see in a simulator. Dude, the thing is, I don't even know how to describe it. That's the best way to describe it. Like, it's a piece of paper airplane that you just threw into the wind, and the wind just took it and just, like, look at it. It's the woods. I'm fighting with track IR right now. It flips the screen upside down to copy when I turn my head a certain way. Yeah, there's been an issue with track IR recently. Not this update, but the one before. You've got to start it before you start the simulator, or if you start it outside of the aircraft. Don't start track IR while you're inside the aircraft and the simulator is running, obviously. Or yeah, make sure your axes are correct. Your axes are correct. Yeah, remember to save the profile once you change the axes. Alright, let me look at my charts. Battleground, we want to be at 240. We're 135 nautical miles out from Battleground right now. So in about 40 nautical miles or so, maybe even more than that, we can start an initial descent. Alright, John. Take it easy, man. Have a good night. Catch you in the morning. Guys, this turbulence is bugging out. See what we're looking like on VATSIM. Still nobody on, just us. Couple minutes, we'll brief the weather, arrival, and approach into Seattle. Appreciate you guys tuning in this evening. Hope you guys enjoyed the flight so far. We're about 218 nautical miles out from Seattle. Should be on the ground here in about 45 minutes. God, this plane's rocking. Good Lord. McKnight just tried the 787X. Oh my gosh, terrible. I told you, man. What, you didn't believe me? Dude, do not fly any other airliner besides this 320 mod, man. By fly-by-wire. Everything is just hosed. I don't know what Microsoft and the Zibo are doing. It's just, like I said, every update just gets progressively worse. Unless you're flying a mod, good luck. Mr. Woods, glad you don't have PAC-X on with the turbulence. I do have PAC-X on. Does this thing pick up turbulence? No way. Is that why my satisfaction is only at 90%? Because of all the turbulence going on? I didn't know this thing simulated turbulence, or at least the passengers realized or can distinguish turbulence. That's cool. Interesting. Very interesting. Man, these headwinds are killing me. Man, look at this. As we get closer, these headwinds pick up a lot. That's gonna be insane. That's why we're crawling here. All right, let's let me start to brief this arrival and all that good stuff. We gotta get these seatbelt signs on, man. We're getting rocked up here. Give me a second. So we're gonna come in again via the Hawk 7 arrival. We'll plan 1-6 left. Let me see what the weather is looking like down there. So Seattle right now, 250 at 3, so 16 still works. Landing south, broken clouds at 4900, 25, 17 degrees Celsius, 3043 altimeter. Pretty straight forward on the weather, not worried about it at all. The Hawk 7 arrival, as you see here, going to be crossing Battleground above 240, Terra above 22. Hawks above 12, that's when we'll hit our first or our initial speed restriction at 270 knots. Foot between 12 and 10 at 250. So on and so forth. After VATSIM, it's essentially we'll take vectors. We don't have ATC on, so we'll vector ourselves in for 16 left. As far as Aerosoft is confirmed or concerned, we'll land 16 left and park. Trying to remember where United parks. They park at the Alpha Gate, so we'll pick Alpha 1 for arrival tonight. So we can set that up actually here. And just go sync. And when we land, they will give us the taxiway indication to bring us to Alpha 1. So pretty cool. That's what I like EFB for. Got, again, barely any ATC here. Got a Southwest aircraft that we just passed in terms of traffic, but that's it, my friends. Straightforward, man. Straightforward on this arrival. Let me go inside here, program the box, and get ready to start this descent. As we descend as well, we'll get some lighter winds. Headwind shouldn't be as bad. So let's start down. We'll go 240. It'll be an open descent. I don't know, I was just saying jokingly, will it grade your turbulence for real? I don't know, man. I've heard it does. But I thought that was like based on whether or not you were keeping the seatbelt sign on during cruise. It would distinguish that. And I don't know if it actually like can determine turbulence. Alright, where were we? C at 2. Gonna be 250 at 3. Mm, 18,000 on transition. Temperature 17 degrees Celsius. QNH 3043. The landing flaps full. One thing we did forget was what is the minimums? 16 left. 200 feet. Alright, the box is programmed. We have started our initial descent. We're 62 out from Battleground. Want to make sure we cross that above 240, so we're doing good. Hopefully this turbulence starts to die down the closer we get. What's causing it right now, it's, as you can see, we've got some few clouds out there and these headwinds as well. It's not helping us whatsoever. Again, on Unicom, as we get closer to Seattle, we'll start our radio calls. Meantime, guys, enjoy the descent, man. Seattle's a gorgeous area. I don't know if any of you guys have been in real life, but love going up here. Not so much in the winter time, but definitely like fall, spring, and summer. Gorgeous. Putting this out there right now so he can't run away. Stalker in the chat. Stock Actual Gaming. Those of you that are not subscribed to him, go ahead and subscribe. He will be streaming Friday. So now he can't get out of it. Now he has to stream on Friday. Subscribe to his channel, you guys will get the alert. Friday should be interesting. I think there is, again, like I said, I won't be able to stream Friday most likely. So we're streaming today. But it's going to be a nice FNO for those that are interested in the VATSIM Friday Night Ops. Denver is the featured airport this Friday. Why is this aircraft slowing down? Come on. Keep the speed up, man. We've got a schedule to keep. Denver is the featured airport this week. Well, you better believe LAX, SFO, Las Vegas, Phoenix, Portland, it's going to be a zoo. It's going to be a zoo. So it should be fun. I don't know why the aircraft was trying to slow down on me there. Alright, man, we're looking good. Slow descent down now into Seattle. Was that the, no, it's not that mountain. I highly recommend VATSIM though, guys. Those that are just starting their aviation or even virtual aviation journey. Especially though, really important if you are starting your real aviation journey. Those going for your private pilot's license, those looking to fly for real. VATSIM is a wonderful way to keep your procedures and radio etiquette and all that good stuff up to par. I do 100%, unless something's wrong, 100% of my flights on VATSIM. Really keeps you sharp with COVID and whatnot. Not really flying out there in the real world too much these days, or at all really. You'll be surprised how quickly you get behind. So not really the game or the sim itself. I mean, especially with Microsoft Flight Sim 2020 right now, the aerodynamics really don't feel the same as a real aircraft. So that you can't simulate. I mean, you can simulate the procedures in the aircraft, so that's good to practice as well, right? Running through your checklist and all that good stuff. But definitely utilizing VATSIM to keep stuff as real as possible. Extremely helpful. VATSIM's easy to get started, by the way. I think XP, those that follow XP, he recently released a tutorial for beginners. I mean, there are hundreds of tutorials out there over the years, but XP is definitely one of the latest ones. Well done. He himself, you know, really started with no knowledge of aviation, and over the last 2 years has really gained a substantial amount of knowledge and really a substantial grew a really substantial channel, man. He's just taken off over the last 2 years. So he did a tutorial recently, you can check that out, but VATSIM is phenomenal. Yeah, it's a good view, man. I'm glad I finally got the camera views going in this thing. See how we're doing inside. We bumped that speed down, Mach 0.78. We're 23 from Batoga. Wrong arrival. Battleground. Crossing above 240, so we're looking good. Batoga. What arrival is Batoga? Why does that sound familiar? I think that's San Francisco. The Surfer 4 arrival. I fly too much, guys. Especially in the States. I know these SIDS and stars like the back of my hand. Yeah, Batoga's I think the arrival in the San Francisco, the Surfer 4 arrival. Oh, I left terrain on ND on this whole time. I'll turn that off. I like how it is, again, the fly-by-wire guys, man, really did a great job. They've decoupled all of this stuff, so I can have it on one side and have it off on the other. Like I said, we can turn down the weather radar brightness. It doesn't have to be as harsh. It's a bit overdone anyway. But again, that's Microsoft and Asobo, man. They've got to fix that. It's almost as if they draw anything that's a cloud as red and pink on the weather radar. It's ridiculous. Alright, let's get 220 dialed in. We can increase that rate of descent just a bit now. Go Mach 0.77 on the descent. Again, I'm trying to hit the altitude and speed restrictions, but this is an arrival, especially if you're landing south, an arrival that you really have a lot of room to play with. I mean, if you ever find yourself too high and too fast, you can always really extend the heck out of your downwind. Not too far. What you don't want to do is go into Canada's airspace, go up to Vancouver, but you've got a ton of room to play with. But we're absolutely fine for this arrival tonight. Can you adjust the antenna tilt? I don't think yet, Johnny. Nah, it's in-op. But I think that's you're right. That's the problem. It's picking up clouds and precipitation and turbulence from altitudes that's not even appropriate for us at this time. It's just like stuck on one mode. I'm sure the fly-by-wire guys will figure it out. Johnny, I don't know if you left, but I told everyone you were streaming on Friday, so now you can't back out of it. Seattle Tacoma traffic, United Airbus A320. We're descending via the Hawk 7 arrival. 240 now. We're approximately 100 nautical miles out from the airport, planning to land south. 16 left for our approach tonight. SeaTac traffic. LOL locked me in. I locked you in, bud. I locked you in. Yeah, are you gonna fly the FNO? It's Denver Friday night. Gonna be super busy. But Denver's got a bunch of runways, so it shouldn't be that bad. I'll watch. Like I said, I'm probably gonna be out Friday, so I'm not gonna be able to stream, but I'll definitely try to watch at least. Hawks is our next restriction, 12,000. Yeah, may head out of Denver to somewhere. Yeah, that'd actually be smart. Don't fly into it, but fly out. Supposedly this thing has a good working VNav now, so instead of continuing to use vertical speed mode, let's see. Yeah, no. No, they lied. We'll go to vertical speed mode. 5,000 5,500 feet per minute. Nah, bro, that is not accurate. And let's bring this speed back. We're way too fast. We've got about 300 knots now. Seatbelt signs can come on. Oh, they are on, so we're good. There's that ridiculous turbulence. These click spots, ridiculous. All right, that's 18,000 coming up. Get that set. $299.02. Don't think that's correct. 3043. Oh, it just needs a little bit. There we go. 3034. Not terribly off. That's a lot better though. We're getting rocked up here, guys. Love the clouds though. Looking good. Let's see, what were the clouds reported at again? Broken at 25, scattered at 49, so we should be breaking out of most of this soon. Again, if live weather is accurate. But I love it, man. Compared to a lot of the other sims out there, when you're descending through the weather and the clouds in this simulator, it really makes it that much more immersive. It really feels like you're in it. That they have done a good job on, for sure. Pack X is expecting us to be on the ground in 28 minutes. I think we're doing fine. Up this speed up. Cloud surfing now, guys. That is gorgeous. Again, man, I appreciate you all tuning in this evening. It's a great stream. Lots of good conversation, man. I wish the very best for this sim, though, man. At the end of the day, I know a lot of us are frustrated right now. Frustrated with it right now, but it'll get there, man. It'll get there. And we're thankful for folks like the working title mod and fly-by-wire that we're flying here. Those folks are keeping this sim alive at the moment. And we'll continue to get more mods, and hopefully Microsoft and the Zibo fixes a lot of the core functionality as well to make these mods a little bit better. And the pay-where aircraft should start rolling in as well. And it'll be good, man. It'll be good. I think at the end of the day, you know, out of the box, we've never seen anything like this. So it's off to a decent start. I wouldn't say a good start. It's off to a decent start. What I am surprised though with is the level of occurrence in which they're pushing these patches. Like, I was expecting a patch maybe every 2 months or so. I mean, when you think about Xplane and P3D, you don't get stuff twice a month or once a month. I know the sim is in its infancy, so that's probably why you're seeing more patches and whatnot, but I'm glad that, you know, at least they're trying on a more frequent basis versus just letting stuff sit for a month and a half before they even try to address it. They just got to get better at testing though, man. They fix things and break like 5 other things along with that, so they'll get there though. They'll get there. Love how the sim looks though. Can't beat that. Alright, we're leveled right now at 12,000 because we our restriction is above 12,000 at Hawks. So we'll keep that up for now. Taking a look at VPilot, still no traffic or ATC, so we're good to go here. I was gonna say the turbulence has calmed down, but here we go, shaking again. Here we go, shaking again. The weather is accurate though, we'll give them that. See, we are about 46 nautical miles out from the field there. Again, it'll be a downwind. We're landing south, so we'll into the downwind. That's going to extend us out a little bit. Versus if we were landing north, it'll essentially be a straight in, but we'll hit the downwind, 1/6 left, turn base, and then turn final. All right, let's pick up that descent again. Next up is Brave. We want to be at Brave between 11 and 10,000 feet. We've got about 30 miles till Brave, so plenty of time to hit that. We'll dial in 10,000. It'll let me. It's 10,000, and we don't got to kill it on the vertical speed down. We'll slowly head down at 10,000 here. We've got plenty of time to Brave. We'll keep the speed up at 310. The charts is 270 where we at now, but no ATC on. We'll just pretend they tell us to delete the speed restrictions, which they often do coming into Seattle when there's not much traffic. So as long as we are abiding by the altitude restrictions in case there's traffic coming into and out of nearby airports, but we'll delete the speed restrictions for now in the interest of time. Pretty much broke out of the clouds now again, as the weather was saying there, so that's good. Off down there to our left is Fort Lewis, Washington. I believe that's an Air Force base if I'm not mistaken. This is a great area though. Like I said, the Seattle, Washington area, or even just north of it, is a great area to do bush flying and whatnot in this sim. We're almost at 10. We'll chime the cabin. We'll get the landing lights on. Landing lights can come on. Let's light up the panels a bit here. Looking good, looking good. I think I flew to Seattle once since the sim came out.
Our final descent into Seattle. Flight attendants will be passing through the cabin to collect any trash.
So nice to be back.
Please ensure tray tables are stowed and seats are in the full upright position.
When you give a location report on VATSIM, do you give them the closest waypoint intersection or what? What does it require? It depends, Mr. Woods. So if we're talking about on Unicom, you don't have to be too descriptive. I mean, you can if you want. So essentially we're at 10,000 now. It's really only going to matter if folks, you know, kind of know the area. But in the real world, yeah, you would give your exact location. So for example, let's do this. Seattle Tacoma traffic, United Airbus A320. We're leveled at 10,000, continuing our descent via the Hawk 7. We are approximately 16 nautical miles south of the airport, just above the Fort Lewis, Washington Gray Air Force Base. Seattle Tacoma traffic. So I just gave a position report there. You could do something like that. Again, I think just your altitude and how far out you are, and you know where you're planning. United Airbus A320 for Seattle Tacoma. We are planning landing south 16 left. I forgot that. So you also want to definitely give your runway as well. I think on VATSIM, for VATSIM purposes, you know, your altitude really doesn't matter. Your distance to go and the airport or the runway you're planning definitely helps folks that are on the ground understand and be a little bit more aware. We're high. I'm not paying attention here. 7,000. Our next restriction will open descent down to 7,000. But if you are with a controller, it's different. So let's say Seattle Tacoma just came online right now, or Approach, or somebody like that. What I would do is tell them my altitude, tell them the arrival that I'm descending via, the runway I'm planning. If his ATIS was up, I'd grab the ATIS and let him know, or let her know that I have that as well. And then you would definitely tell them the VOR, or the closest airport you're near. Alright, we're way over speed here for below 10,000, so bring the speed back a bit. If you're coming into a controlled area just center, you call sign altitude and distance from closest navigator. I normally use high altitude VORs. Exactly. All of that is exactly what Johnny said, what I was trying to say in a nutshell. Another thing why I like Aerosoft, if you look here, it tells you your VATSIM traffic, so it looks like an American 4420 is coming in. And it looks like 16 left as well. I'm on Unicom, he hasn't said a word. Let's actually validate that. It's not what I want. Yeah, so there is someone coming in to Seattle. He hasn't said anything. That's what you don't want to do. Especially when you got traffic nearby, you gotta state what's going on. I mean, we're not conflicting or anything. He's well ahead of me on the downwind there, or on final rather, so not worried about it, but you still gotta say something. Alright, let's lose some altitude. I think that's Payne Field down there. There's downtown Seattle. $4,000. Seattle Tacoma traffic. United Airbus A320. We're downwind. 16 left at 7,000. Turning base here shortly.
Hey, Seattle traffic, American 4420.
There he goes.
5 my final, 16 final. Seattle traffic.
Okay, he's landing center. Again, no factor, but still nice to say something. You never know. So glad he at least announced final. I'm going to extend my downwind just a bit. You have room for the traffic, as well as I need to bleed off some altitude, so. Gorgeous sunset arrival though. Usually we would turn right over downtown, but we're fine. Start our turn now. Let's see, performance activated. Approach phase rather. 10 Tower gave us the base now. Gorgeous down there. Sorry guys, you guys didn't tell me my other monitor was up. Apologies. I did that the other day too. I took off in the CJ4. When was it? Sunday? And I had my charts monitor up the entire departure. So no one saw anything. Apologies about that. SeaTac traffic, United Airbus A320, 4,000 feet, base 16 left. Continue to right hand turn. There's our runway, our airport. We could literally shoot the visual now if we'd want to. Let's go 3,000. Go flaps 1. There's the Loke. We're overshot just a bit. The aircraft's correcting. If it doesn't, I will take over and just fly a visual. Alt star, there we go. Seattle Tacoma traffic, United Airbus A320, 10 mile final, 16 left. Been to Fort Bliss, loved it. Where is that? Here? Here, Johnny? Go flaps 2. Alright, we're about 8 out now. Should be capturing the glide slope here. Flaps 3, gear down. There's the glide slope. That would have helped if I had the switches on. We'll go auto brake low. We're gonna roll out at the end, so we're fine. And flaps full. Seattle Tacoma traffic, Airbus A320, United Airbus A320. We are on a 6 mile final, runway 16 left. Alright, checklist, gears down 3 greens, flaps full. We've got the glide slope switches on now. Auto brake low, spoilers are armed. Cabin crew advised.
Cabin crew, seats for landing.
Flaps full, auto spoilers are armed. Like I said, lights is required. And we're clear land, 16 left. Gotta go get a train. We'll catch y'all later. Mr. Woods, take care, man. Have a good evening. Alright, this aircraft does fly the ILS approach really well, guys, all the way down to Cat 3. I have tested it a number of times, so there you go again. Looks great. I'm outside, look at some scenery real quick. So it looks good. Well, for the purposes of hand flying this bad boy, let's disconnect the autopilot and bring it in ourselves here. Let's see how good we can do. I see 2 whites, 2 reds. Now the flight director is saying we're low, but I've got 2 whites, 2 reds. "1,000 feet, check, stabilized, mid-approach altitude is set." Now this aircraft on very short final at about 400 feet above the runway loves to bank left or right. I haven't been able to figure out what causes that. I'm not the only one to report that either. I've tried the control sensitivity, nothing works, so we'll see what happens tonight. But you gotta try to keep it as straight as an arrow. Any small corrections on short final will causes issues, so we'll see. Yeah, can those lights be any brighter? That's 200. Continue. Landing.
100, 60, 50, 40, 30, 20. Retard. Drive.
I don't know what that bounce was about. Alright, reverse green decel, spoilers. That's 60 knots, manual braking. Wasn't terrible. We'll roll out here. We're parking Alpha, I believe. We'll keep it rolling.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Seattle. The local time is 6:15 p.m. and it's currently about 50 degrees Fahrenheit. You can now use your mobile devices.
Alright, that's us, man. Strobes off.
Come to a complete stop and the
AP
seatbelt
on.
sign is turned off. Remember to use caution when opening the overhead bins as items may have shifted during the flight. If this is your
I'll clean
final
up.
destination, we thank you for flying with us and we hope to see you again soon.
Had 2 GAs hit each other a couple weeks ago. Where at? That's crazy. Or is that where you were, the video you sent me? We'll go TA on the transponder. The weather radar and predictive wind shear can come off. Flap is open on the APU, so we'll get the APU started. Oh my gosh, who's calling me? Seattle ground, really? I did this entire flight on Unicom. I didn't see him on, he must have just got on. Seattle's coming ground, good evening, United. 447 vacated 16 left on Bravo, we're parking Alpha 1.
Look, sir, you sound Alpha 1
The hell? I heard 2 people at a time, what was the instruction?
taxi to the Alpha 1 gate via Bravo.
Alpha 1 via Bravo, United 447, thank you. Alright, we'll turn in here. Man, that was cool, man. I really appreciate you all tuning in this evening. That was a fun flight up from San Francisco. Great weather, had some turbulence, but for the most part it was fun. I'll get the rest of these lights off. Don't need the landing lights. That can go to taxi. APU is starting up. Continue here to our gate. Looking at the Prime Day sales. I keep getting alerts from these guys, man. They're relentless. Amazon they are. Where is Alpha 1? I think this is our gate here. Sure, we're clear on our left side. There we are. That was fun, man. Glad the mod isn't broken. They really turned it around quickly here. Put the taxi light off. Generally we would have a marshaller there and we don't want to blind them. Alpha 1 is occupied by a British Airways A320 in Seattle. Interesting. Alpha 1's occupied, so we'll go Alpha 2. Oh, not paying attention here, looking at my other monitor. Where we at? Where we at? Got a ways to go. Yo, we're gonna leave it there. Parking brakes are set. APU is available. We'll kill one. And we'll kill number 2. There's the jetway. I do that all the time. Y'all gotta remind me, LOL. Do what, Johnny? Alright. We'll get the seatbelt signs off now. No smoking off. Emergency exit lights off. Beacon off. Fuel pumps coming off. That's the passengers deboarding back there. Cockpit door can open. Transponder to standby. Let's see, can we get some baggage? Oh, I didn't want to request pushback. Why are we pushing back, man? Come on. Sim. Anyway, we're gonna leave it here, guys. Listen, I appreciate you all tuning in this evening. That was a lot of fun. This is Seattle. Like I said, man, it's one of the handcrafted airports by Microsoft and the Zibo. I don't think it requires a separate add-on, although I know Taxi the Gate and some of those folks are probably going to be working on one. But this does it. I mean, I don't fly to Seattle often enough so that it has to be, you know, 100% spot on. At least not for the purposes that I'm looking for. I think it's quite okay. Again, no F&O for me this Friday on VATSIM. I think, like I said, Johnny's going to be streaming. If you are not subscribed, go check out his channel, Johnny Stalker Actual Gaming, there in the chat. But yeah, that's it for us, man. You guys enjoy the rest of your week. Have a good weekend. Maybe Saturday we're going to do a group flight. Johnny will do some bush flying. We'll do some bush flying and I'll probably stream that. But as far as the week is concerned, that's it for us. Again, appreciate you all tuning in. You guys take care and have a good one. Later.